Good evening, everybody. Peter here again. Stamp collecting fun. I hope you are enjoying collecting your stamps and you are having fun showing them off and really enjoying them. I think they're fantastic little things. And every stamp tells a story, every one of them. And the story today is US presidents. It's my story because it's really not about the US presidents and every stamp, but it's about the ones that I've managed to gather over the last few months. So we'll start with I've laid them all out, so we go one by one. Here we have a 2-cent stamp, United States postage, and this features George Washington. This was issued, I've done a little bit of research, but as usual do your own research. It was issued in 1923. Nice clear stamp, lovely colour. What would you call it? Scarlet, red, something like that? I don't know. And we continue to the next one, which is again Washington again. And this time we have to go to the year 1932 when this was issued. And this is 3 cents, so maybe there's been a bit of inflation going on. Only a lot. So from 2 cents to 3, that is a big jump. But good head on, face on picture of George Washington. We go to the next stamp, which is a green stamp, 1 cent, and we bob back to 1923. So possibly this one was issued at the same time as the red George Washington. And this was the 1 cent version of the postage rate back in those days. And this is President Franklin. Don't know a lot about him or where he was from or what he did, but a nice stamp. Okay, next stamp, please. Here we've got a brown stamp, 1.5 cents. And we are moving forward in time again. Time does not wait. And it goes to 1930. And this is President Harding. Another president I know very little about. So if you know anything about him, drop a comment in or not, as the case may be. Okie dokie. Next stamp, we've got a 4 cents now. And here we have... This is George Washington again, but this is the earliest stamp that we've seen thus far. It's 4 cents. What's interesting is you see the teeth on the edges there? Teeth. So there's teeth on the edges. So they're there purposely so you can pull the stamps apart. But look how thick it is at the top and the side, and how there's no thickness whatsoever on the left, and underneath there's barely any thickness of the edging, if you get me. Now that is interesting because it's different, isn't it? So that may make this a stamp of interest. We go to the next one, and here we're looking at, as it says, Thomas Jefferson. And this again, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure, is a 1901. I could be well off beam here, but those are the only dates that I could find. I suspect they are not 1901, but the research that I did was looking at stamps from the 20th century, from the 1900s. So may have used 1901 as the start of the century. But again, we've got different bordering here, or you know what I mean. Bordering, some is thick, some is a lot thinner. Anyway, we won't over egg the pudding. And we go to the next stamp, which is another George Washington. They love him over there. This is 1 cent. It's a green, and this is 1912. Quite a nice stamp. A good old face on him. He was possibly looking a bit rough there. And then we have another Washington, George Washington. So it's very popular, 5 cents. Now, as you would expect, the postage has jumped up here, and this is a 1962 stamp of the great man. So what I'll do now is I'll just move these away, and we'll get the other ones out. We'll get the other ones out somehow. What we're going to do... I don't want to insult anybody. We'll have a look at it this way. Okay, here's a familiar face. We've got a 4-cent US postage, Abraham Lincoln, carmine in colour, I think it is, or scarlet or purple. And this was produced between 1964, issued 1964 to 1975. Nice, let's just move this one here. Another Lincoln, but much earlier, 3C, 3 cent, Abe Lincoln 1924. Then we're coming to, not modern, probably modern. This is a 1971 stamp of President Eisenhower. Previously he was General Eisenhower. It's grey and it's 6 cents on it. Now here's an interesting stamp. And it's U.S. Grant. So we've got President Ulysses S. Grant. Uncle Sam Grant. And this is an 1894 stamp. So the earliest stamp we've seen at this juncture is brown and it's 5 cents. Continue up, and here's another familiar figure. Here he is. Teddy Roosevelt, a 1924 stamp, 5 cents, blue. I think after he had been president a million times, they decided after that 2 is enough. So nobody gets more than 2 goes now. And it can even be split. I learnt that today. So it's not 2 on the trot, it's 1, buckle your shoe, miss a go, and then come back again. That's your lot. Anyway, who have we got here? So after Teddy, we've got President Taft. And this is a 1938 stamp, 50 cents. So it's quite high value as a stamp. By that I mean it was high value then. Here I've got an Andrew Jackson, which is 1965. It looks modern, doesn't it? It doesn't have the same gravitas. It doesn't quite have the same filling as the other stamps. And also it's got 10 on it. Then we've got this stamp here, which is JFK, which is obviously a more modern stamp. 1967 stamp. 13 cents. Very nice. And then we've got this stamp here, which is a 3 cent 3 cent 1938 Jefferson. I believe that. And finally, the oldest stamp that I've got, which is a 5 center, and this is brown, 5 cents. It's got a big, someone's taken a bite out of it there. So it's in poor condition. The cancel, almost decimates the face. It is 1882 issue. Again, I could be contradicted on that. If you know difference, please let me know. And it's James Garfield, who I know nothing about, but again, he was the President of the United States, James Garfield. And if you want to be collecting stamps, I suggest really, that's a nice stamp. Everyone's heard of JFK, most popular president ever in the history of the world. But, the date on that, 1882, this has been through stuff. And it's this sort of era that I am interested in. Though I love them all, I like them all to be... I actually like the US Grant one. I do get a lot of Washingtons, but the Teddy Roosevelt's and the, it's the rarer ones that don't come as often that I like. US Grant, what a great character he was. Won the war, almost single-handedly, was brought back from, having no job. He trained as a military officer and retired and took to drink and was unsuccessful in business. And then when the Civil War came, they called upon him to sort that war out once and for all. So he came back and won the war, and then was subsequently made president. I'm not quite sure they had the same sort of, I mean, it was a, president is like as if you're presiding over something. Look it up. It's interesting. And Teddy Roosevelt is another interesting character. He was an adventurer and he was involved with wars himself. Probably the US-Mexican War, he was in that, maybe. But a very good president, because I think there's nobody who's had more goes at it than him, I believe. Again, I stand corrected. Taft, I know nothing about. So these are my... well, here we have another one, Eisenhower. I mean, he's gone from general, winning the war single-handedly, and then, being rewarded by becoming president. His daughter married Richard Nixon, I believe. And that's probably all I know. This one sneaked in, and it's not a president, but it is Thomas Edison. Someone's had a bite out of that. You see, I get these stamps, and I get them cheaply, probably because they've been bitten and thingamajigged. What I do like about this is the cancel that may say New York. It may say that. It may. It doesn't belong with these, but I keep it with those for its own protection. Okay, that's my stuff for today. I'll be watching television from now on. I'll be watching some stamp videos on YouTube, so I am grateful to everybody who puts up their stamp videos. They are absolutely fascinating, and I'm not going to name you or try and remember all the names, because it wouldn't be fair if I missed you out. But there's nothing I like better than kicking back and putting on YouTube and watching good old stamp videos. You make me buy stuff. You are to blame. I'm not to blame for any of this. You are. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. Drop us a comment. Give us a thumbs up if you want. I don't like asking for it, but it does help. It helps the hobby, and it helps get more people involved with... We want more, don't we? Collecting is not what it used to be, and I do feel it needs a boost. And what better way to boost it than for the stamp community, to put up their videos, show us your collection, show us what you've got. I love it. Love it. Thanks for watching. Bye.